fall project, and this could be a reversible project if you wanted it to be. I'm going to be focusing more so on fall, but you know, don't be surprised if when you see this later, maybe I've done something to the back side of it. We'll see. But I wanted you to see what I'm using today. First off, so my friends over at Clear Scraps have these adorable, adorable, adorable little small shiplap pumpkins. I'll show you from here. I want you to see kind of the size of these. They are so cute. There is a round one and there is a tall one. And I'm going to be using 3 of these. I like odd numbers for a little banner. Obviously, depending on how big you need your banner to be, you may need to add more. But this is, I think, is what I'm going to use. I'm doing kind of round, tall, round. But you could do just the opposite. You could do tall, round, tall. You could do all round. You could do all tall. Okay? They're so cute. And these are so fun to work with because I don't know about you, but sometimes you just need, you know, not all of our projects or crafts need to be something that we have to work at for hours and hours, right? It's just a fun thing that you can do. You could even, I think you could even pull in your kids to help you with this, or grandkids if you have them, to maybe help paint or just, you know, do some of the decorative part. So these are going to actually come together pretty fast. I think you're going to like it. And then I'm thinking about, I do have some napkins here, so I may be adding a little bit of napkin art. I may be adding a few felt flowers. I don't know. We're going to just see where this craft and chat takes us. Okay. So, oh, you have a vacation day, Diane. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to start off by painting my pumpkins, and I'm just going to be using this color from Deco Art. It is called Warm. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is not that one. Let me pull this one. Okay, Spiced Pumpkin. Spiced Pumpkin. I almost showed you Warm Sunset, but the color I want to use is called Spiced Pumpkin. Perfectly appropriate. You can see I've used it before. I like this color for pumpkins. It's it's a nice kind of warm color. I just really, really like it. And you can see I'm almost at the end of my bottle there. So I'm going to start off by painting these. Okay. And let's see here. I'm going to just grab a piece of plastic just to paint these on top of. I am coming to you from my home today, my home studio. All right. Okay, I think you can see that okay. All I'm going to do to these to start is just give them some paint. Now, as I mentioned, I was talking about them being reversible. When you turn this over, it's just a pumpkin, right? You don't have the little shiplap valleys edged out, but this would be so cute. This could be maybe your Halloween side, right? So you could mix them up. You could even mix up like, you know, shiplap, plain shiplap, you know, you could just kind of mix it up like that. I'm going to focus more so on the fall side for right now because I had thought about doing Halloween, but Halloween's getting so close. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. We're going to work with the fall side, even though today is Friday the 13th. So yeah, this is something you could easily decorate both sides of. All right, you're going to see this, the wood paints so nicely and so quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the stem too. Okay, we'll do something else to it in a bit, but I'm going to go ahead and paint that stem for right now. So I'm just going to get a quick coat of paint on all of these. You know, I may go ahead and paint the back of them since I'm feeling pretty crafty today. I may decide to decorate the back of those later today. We'll see. We'll see what the day holds. Do y'all like this color? Isn't it pretty? Spiced Pumpkin by Deco Art. And it's actually in my Amazon storefront under the Napkin Club. I believe I have it in the Napkin Club, under the Napkin Club. If you just want to, if you're doing any Amazon shopping and want to grab it there. All right. Okay, now let's do this one. Does everybody have their fall decorations out? Have you got everything out and decorated? I feel like I was a little late in putting mine out this year, but it was just because it's been so warm here. It's hard to, we had our summer just decided to keep on and keep on. And it was just kind of hard to get into the mood, but I have all of mine out and I love it. I love fall decor. I love the colors. It's just, I don't know, it makes me feel really extra cozy. Do y'all feel cozy when all your fall decor is out? I do. That's good. You can always add more. I can always add more fall too. Yes. And the thing is, like a little banner like this, it's so fun because you can put it just about anywhere. You could string it up over a wreath. You could put it over a frame. You could just hang it just in a vignette, you know, with other things. They're just so cute. I like to decorate. My front porch has right now has a big, large shutter on it, oversized shutter. So I love hanging little banners on the shutter. Just really, really cute. I'm going to dry this real quick, but these little banners are just fun. You can even hang it up at work, wherever, just to bring you a little fall coziness. I love this color. I love this color. Okay. Okay, if y'all don't mind, I am going to go ahead and paint the back. Because I'm thinking, do you remember the craft and chat that I did where we wrapped the blocks and I gave you guys the pumpkin faces? Well, I'm kind of thinking those pumpkin faces would look great on this, on the back side, if you did want to do something Halloweenish. Oops, sorry, getting a spam call here. Let me decline that. Let's see if it'll go back. There we go. Sorry. I get more spam calls on my phone than ever before. I don't know what is up now. Don't y'all hate that? Sales calls and spam calls to your cell phone, right? Don't you hate that? Ugh, frustrating. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give these. But yeah, I think those jack-o'-lantern faces, those pumpkin faces could be really cute back here. And then you could have this be reversible. So one thing I was thinking about was, you know, when I do create this as a banner, it's so fun to tie off like ribbons in between the wood pieces, or it could be torn pieces of fabric. So if you are going to do it double-sided reversible, just keep that in mind and use, you know, ribbons or whatever that's going to look good from both sides. I love reversible projects because then all I have to do is just switch them around. I only have to store one project. You're constantly blocking numbers. Me too. And it doesn't seem to do a big difference because then it seems like they just call you again with a varying number. But yeah, it is kind of annoying. Well, not kind of. It is annoying. All right, now my paint part will be done and I don't have to worry that I'm going to, you know, get paint on the front of these after I've decorated whatever I'm going to do to them. Okay. Perfect. And I had enough paint. Yay. Okay. So let's get rid of that little plastic sheet. let's dry these. Oh, Diane, that is hard. So you have to answer them in case it's a client. Most of the time, I won't answer, but then I'll check my messages and just see if I figure if it's important, somebody will have left a message. So I'll check my voicemail. Okay. Look how cute. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun with the antiquing wax. You guys, I love antiquing wax, and it just really can, especially since these are going to the shiplap side is going to be my fall side. Oh, you have a call blocker app. Ooh, Deanne, you may need to private message me and share that with me. I'd be curious to know. Thank you, Janet. It's my brand new t-shirt. I got it from my framed t-shirt club. I know some of you are in that same t-shirt club. Isn't it cute? I love the blues and the aquas or turquoise, whatever colors you want to call this. It's so different kind of for fall. And this is something I could wear all the time. So grateful heart. I love it. I love it. All right. So I'm going to grab my baby wipes here. Anytime I use the liquid antiquing wax, I like to use my baby wipes for this. Okay. So I'm going to basically kind of get my background just all the way that I want it to be. And then, then we'll decide what's going to come next. Okay. Yes. It is pretty blues, isn't it? I love it. All right. I'm going to pull out a couple of these. And, recently I had a question about baby wipes, so I'm just going to bring it up now. I had a question about baby wipes about, first off, I try to always use the ones that are alcohol free. And then also I kind of made the mistake this last time. Do you see how these are quilted? The quilted ones have a tendency to leave little fibers. So you really are better off to get just the cheapest ones that you can that are not quilted. The quilted ones sometimes just leave those little fibers. Now, normally when the project is dry, they just kind of, you can just wipe them right off. But those little fibers can be a little bit annoying. So yeah, make sure I grab these really quickly. And I did not realize I grabbed the quilted ones. So if you're just curious about that, try to don't get the quilted baby wipes. Okay. All right. This is my antiquing wax. I love this. It's liquid. If you've ever used wax before, paste wax, normally you have to really burnish it in, and it just has, there's steps to it and all of that. This is a liquid form of wax. So the cool thing about that is we can manipulate it much easier because it's liquid. We can apply it much easier. We can manipulate it easier. And then, but we still have the qualities of wax. And so what that means is that when this cures, it's going to harden. Okay. It's going to harden to our pumpkins here or whatever surface you put it on. And so that helps to seal your project. But the hardening is just that it's almost like a protective coat. Okay, like a protective coat. So it's really nice to use. Now, most of the time when I use this, I try to be a little sparing with it. You don't need, I guess basically what I'm trying to say is a little goes a long way. Okay, so we're going to be a little sparing with it. A little goes a long way. Okay. Parents choice sensitive at Walmart works for you. Yeah, just try to be careful and not get the quilted. The quilted ones do sometimes leave those little fibers. All right. So I'm going to dip just right into the lid of this. Cheryl's posting links if anybody's interested. And I'm going to mainly focus my attention on the shiplap valleys. Little shiplap valleys. Now these pumpkins, if you do love them, and I'm going to put some on my stem up here. If you do love these I can't speak, these little shiplap pumpkins. We also sell a medium size and a large size, and they are equally beautiful. So pretty. All right, so I kind of have some going on here that looks very strappy right now. I'm going to take my baby wipe. You guys see this okay? Let's bring this down just a little bit. So I'm going to bring my baby wipe, and I'm just going to kind of start washing. Let me bring it this way. Dragging, basically kind of washing, dragging it towards myself. I kind of want some streaks on this pumpkin. I want it to look a little more fallish. You can put a little around the edges. And if you feel like you got, if you wiped too much out of the valley here, you can just come back and add some more in there. So you're going to see these little fibers because I accidentally picked up the quilted. Look how pretty that is. Do you see how it gets that kind of look? Now up here, I put my fingers in it, but I'm going to put this back up here. I'm actually going to treat this a little bit more like paint up here. And I'm just going to leave it. All right. There, you can kind of see it there. I'm just going to leave it on. I'm going to let it harden. It's going to harden as it dries. Well, actually, it's going to dry, and then it's going to harden over the next few hours. There is a little shiplap valley on that stem, but I'm not going to really try to accent it. Doesn't that look pretty? Let me dry this just a bit, and I'll show it to you again. So basically, I've just taken this really bright orange. You see the difference here. And I'm just kind of making it feel maybe a little more fall. Now, when you get a lot of wax on here on your baby wipe, just kind of move it around a little bit. I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to kind of clean the roadways. Not really near the edges, just kind of right in the center. And I can clean off even a little bit more of that. Isn't that pretty? And y'all, this is so easy to do. This is one of those techniques that anybody can do. It's very, very easy. And if you think it's too brown, then again, you could just go back and kind of wash off whatever you want to wash off. Okay. But I really like how this one's looking. So I'm going to move on to another one. Isn't it pretty? So pretty. I mean, this is cute too, right? But do you see just the depth and just the, so good. All right, so let's do this again. I think I have enough in my lid here. So we're going to do this again. So I kind of start off just painting right over the shiplap valleys. Okay. Very easy to do this. Once you buy one of these jars of liquid antiquing wax, it's going to last you a long time because I don't know if well, I'll go ahead and put this on there. I'll probably stick my fingers in it again. And do you see when I'm painting these stems, do you see how I'm kind of creating a little point right here? So it looks like it's kind of going down into, see it? It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. That's what gives your pieces more charm and character. Okay. And you do need to work kind of quickly. We don't want the antiquing wax to start to dry too much, or you really will wind up with a striped pumpkin. And just remember, keep kind of turning your baby wipe. See if I can do this without messing up the stem. So it's completely up to you. How much do you want to leave I want some around these bottom curves here. All right, like how much do I want to leave? Yeah, do I want to add a little more? Totally up to me. Totally up to you. I like that. Okay, I did still wind up putting, maybe don't paint your stem until after you're done. Add a little around the top. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it has a very long shelf life, Sherry Schaefer, and it will last a long, long time. Because you use it so sparingly, right? It a little goes a long way. So unless you were doing like big pieces of furniture or something like that, for us as crafters, as makers, it's going to last us a very, very long time. Isn't that pretty? Very fall. I love it. I love it. So again, let's look at the difference. Here's just the paint. Yes, it just makes such a big difference. All right, we got one more to go. And I know for some people this is very scary because it's like, I mean, here we just painted this and now look, I'm making it just look like such a mess. Go ahead and put a little around this bottom part. I like those little curves at the bottom to be kind of accentuated. This time I'm going to be smart, not paint the stem right away. And this is so much better than trying to use like stain. Stain is stinky. It's messy. It has its own kind of temperaments and ways that you have to use it. So I just love this. I use it as a faux stain. I use it for antiquing. I use it for lots of things. So just remember, if you accidentally wipe too much off, you can always go back and add some more. And let's be careful not to take too much. We want to keep it in the valleys. And then the rest is really just kind of personal preference. It's just how, you know, how much do you want to leave? I'm going to take a little bit more off right here. You might be able to see those fibers I'm talking about from the, can y'all see the fibers? They're on there. Very pretty. Love it. Put a little bit more in here. That's why I just use it right out of the lid, because if you go to the jar, you're going to wind up wasting a lot of it. It's just easier to take it out of the lid. All right, now let's paint this part. So the more you put on and the longer you leave it, the darker it will be, because it is going to dry and then it's going to cure, which is harden. That's just a curing, just is part of the hardening process. There we go. I love it. All right, let's try this one. Now, the larger pumpkins in the Napkin Club, I actually painted those. We actually put book pages on ours, and then we antique them so they're more white. If you like a natural kind of look, your pumpkins could even be white or cream or soft greens or aquas, whatever colors you want them to be, which is really kind of fun. All right, so no more antiquing wax. We're done with that. Also, just to let you know, there is a clear antiquing wax, and clear is pretty cool too, because clear you can actually tint with paint. So you could create whatever kind of wax you want, right? Liquid wax you want, just by tinting it with paint. So the clear is a fun one too. But 99% of the time I'm using the brown for antiquing purposes. So it's just nice to have that. And then if I do have a colored, I will use that as, just whenever I want to do a blue wash on something, or I shouldn't say wash, antiquing, because it could be any color, right? Any color of paint that you have. And what you would do is just pour out a little bit of the clear and then just literally drops of paint, like drops of paint, start mixing it until you get it to the color consistency that you want. Okay. You did aqua pumpkins and some orange. I bet they turned out gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I use a lot of aqua and light greens and stuff in my fall. Yeah. So I'm sure that's really pretty. All right. Just giving them another once over, especially this top of this pumpkin here. Give that some time to dry. So the other thing that you could do at this stage is go in and sand them. And sanding them kind of brings out a little bit of that raw natural color. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to leave mine just like they are. I think they look really pretty, just like this. So I'm going to switch my screen here for a second, you guys. There we go. Bring this down. All right, and I just realized I don't have another light on. Let me go turn that other light on so you don't see these shadows. Okay, see how cute? Cute and easy. Very, very easy to do. I just love them. And even after they dry, if you realize like you want to go take another stab at those little, I call it runways because we don't want to mess with the edges, but you can always go back and clean them up a little bit more. But once the longer it dries, it's going to start hardening immediately, and then you're not going to be able to manipulate it anymore. So you do want to do this wiping process with your baby wipes. You want to do that sooner rather than later. Okay. Yes, aren't they so cute? Okay, so now we have to decide what's going to happen next. And I was kind of going back and forth over, oh, here's here's the medium-sized pumpkin, just in case you want to see. That's the medium one. The medium one is round and the large one is tall. So it's the same shape, it's just bigger and taller. Forgot I stuck that over there to show you guys. Okay, so if I want to add any kind of napkin art to this. I don't know. I've been going back and forth. Do I want to add some napkin art? I don't know. What do y'all think? I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking here. So I still have some pretty leaves here that I could put on these. I'm just looking through these to see. I might even cut some of my own leaves out of some of this. So I have some scrap pieces. These are just scraps from my Napkin Club, some of the projects that we've made in the Napkin Club. And let's just have some fun. Let's play around here. See what we can come up with. Okay. So I'm thinking plaid leaves would look really cute. I mean, I have these, but I'm thinking I want this to be a little more playful, just kind of fun and kind of playful. So what if I just cut out my own leaves? Okay, they don't have to, it doesn't have to be anything super crazy. Remember, I told you, I think I may be putting some felt flowers on these just to add in another texture. I love this napkin. Isn't that cute? All right, so how do we do this? Well, we can just draw if you want to draw. I'm just using a friction pen. Okay. Yes, Carolyn, these are little shiplap pumpkins that we sell. So I could just do regular leaves. You don't have to do like fancy maple leaves or something like that. Just, however, if you feel comfortable just cutting, if you feel more comfortable drawing them and then cutting them, I generally, with this shape, I'll just cut them without drawing them. I'm just showing you can draw on the back side if you wanted to. Oh my gosh, look how cute that looks. That looks really adorable. So I'm going to cut. This is a great thing to do with your scraps. And for those of you that aren't into napkin art, this is something that you could do with your scrapbook paper until we convince you to become a member of the Napkin Club and we get you hooked on napkins. None of them have to be exactly the same shape or anything like that. I'm just going to start cutting out a few pieces here. I'm going to use these acorns. I think these acorns are just darling. And these leaves are super cute too. So on this one, I'm just going to cut out my own leaf. And when you're on plaid like this, just cut your leaves out, this plaid napkin, just cut your leaves out in random angles, because I think having the angles on the plaid looks really, really cool. They don't all have to be the exact same, if that makes sense. Oh my gosh, these are going to be so cute. And I think I'm on this one. I think we might actually do maybe one more. The tall one, let's add one more here. All right. So great thing to do with just your scraps, whatever you have left. Now I'm going to cut out some of these. I want some of these acorns. And again, if you're not a napkin person, this is something you could do with fall papers. Actually, you could even do it with like silk leaves, right? Artificial leaves. These would even be cute, y'all, individually. Even if you had one of these like on everybody's place setting, if you do fancy place settings at Thanksgiving. Our family is so big that we have to kind of buffet style it. But it's still they still could be cute, just scattered around on your table. You could make a little easel for the back of them to put them on tier trays. Mine's going to become a little banner. And so if you'll notice how I'm cutting, I'm just kind of, I call this a loose fussy cut. So you're going to see the white. Okay, see the white there? And I wouldn't worry about stems. I'm just going to cut out a few. Now this one's kind of a creamy gold color. So on top of this orange, it's not going to really stand out. We'd have to put some paint behind it. So we'll think about that one. These little acorns are so cute. If you're in the Napkin Club, these napkins were in your bundle last month. I believe this one was from last month. Let's go switch these up. So I like this big dark one right here. If you miss a workshop, is it left online so you can do it later? I'm thinking of challenge workshops. Yes, ma'am. As long as you just, if usually the challenge workshops are in a private Facebook group, and they're just left there indefinitely. So you can watch them as many times as you need to. Okay, I think I have a couple of acorns for each one of these. Let's do one more little bitty one here. And I'm not sure about these little leaves. I'm kind of, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. They may just get kind of lost. Okay. So I'm going to keep this one over here, and then I'll decide if we need to add a couple little leaves somewhere, we will. Okay, let's get some Mod Podge going. Now, one thing you're going to need to know is like where you see the white on these leaves. If we don't put some white behind them, ooh, that poured out way more than I planned. That white is going to turn orange. Okay. So if we don't put something behind them, that's going to turn orange. And that might be okay. Let's work on this little one first. Let's work on this one right here first. Now, remember I talked about some flowers. So if I decide to put some flowers on here, I can. So if I'm going to do flowers, I really kind of need the leaves to fall down a little bit so that those can kind of go right up in there. So I'm going to take my friction pen here, and I'm just going to kind of trace a little line. This is a friction pen by Pilot. We do carry them. They're like $1.99. It's great because it is the ink erases with heat. It just disappears. So once I have these traced, then I'm just going to take a little paintbrush, And this is only if you want that white to show. I'm actually going to use this color. It's called Vanilla Frosting. So it's more of a warm white. I don't need much at all. Just going to come in here. You don't even have to do it all the way to the edges. We just want to stay within our pen lines. Just to put a little brightness behind it. Very simple to do, especially with this leaf shape. Very, very simple to do. And it's just because, oh, I got a little, what I did there. It's just because I want that white to show up. Okay, do you see how messy that is? It doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be, oops, and there go all the napkins. I caught them before they left. All right, so we want to make sure that that paint is dry. I'm going to separate the plies here. And you see now it's going to stay, it's not going to turn orange. The napkins are so thin, that top tissue is so thin. All right, love it. That's why this is nice to kind of use just a really simple shape. Now I am going to be putting a top coat of Mod Podge over this whole thing, but not just yet. So I'm only going to put it where these leaves are going. And then it's just laying them on top. If you get off a little bit, I don't want you to worry. It'll just look like a highlight. And some plastic wrap here to really smooth those down. Now, this leaf overlaps a shiplap valley, okay? This leaf overlaps a shiplap valley, so does this one. So you can take like a toothpick. I'm just going to use my fingernail, the edge of my fingernail, and I'm going to go down into this shiplap valley. I want that napkin to really conform down there. I want to keep these lines. I love the shiplap lines. Okay, can y'all see that okay? Really kind of pushing them down into it. And then when we peel this back, okay, I'll show you. We're going to do something to that here in just a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and put on a couple of these. Now, I'm not going to paint underneath these, the acorns. Did I get all that? I think all that came off at the same time. Okay. Let's put one maybe like right here. Cute. Make sure you get both plies off. Way too much Mod Podge on my brush, sorry. Now, do you see where that kind of, there's a little bit of the white of the napkin kind of showing? I don't want anybody to worry about that. I have a trick for that. Okay, and this is what I'm going to do, y'all. Basically, this is where I'm going to stop on this one, and I'm going to move to the next one. Okay, I will be coming back in and doing a top coat on this here in just a minute, but I want to let this dry for a second. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other round one. And I may do it just almost like a mirror image of this one. But I'm going to put the orange on the top, the green on the bottom. Again with my friction pen. You just draw lightly. You don't need, I mean, you're going to be able to tell. And again, I'm using vanilla frosting. Vanilla frosting, it may look really white to you on camera right now, but it's actually a warm white. It's an antique white. So it's a little more, it's not so stark like white. But the cameras and the lights can kind of play tricks on your eyes. So it may look like white, but it's really not. I think even cheesecake is even a creamier white that would be really pretty you could use as well. But I like vanilla frosting. All right, are y'all doing okay? Can you integrate heat transfer vinyl with napkin art? Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can. You have to make sure that the napkins are sealed, and you have to use like parchment paper. In fact, we should do that. We need to do that sometime in the Napkin Club, because there are some steps that you need to kind of follow to protect your napkin art. And using the heat transfer vinyl. So yeah, I'll have to put that, I'll have to remember that. And I would definitely suggest, yeah, that's definitely one that until you really know kind of the, you know, how to protect your napkin art, might want to practice, do a practice piece. All right. So again, just want to make sure our paint is dry. These chalk and mineral, I'm using chalk and mineral based paints for this. I did not for the orange color. They just don't really have a good orange color. And they just dry super fast. So if you're using regular acrylic paint, you just need to make sure that that paint is really good and dry before you put the Mod Podge on, or your white paint is going to streak over your pumpkin. All right, there we go. And again, I'm going to come back with my fingernail. Use whatever you've got to go down in those shiplap valleys. It won't be very obvious. You're welcome. You're welcome, Cindy. I got those deli sheets in my Amazon list for next order. Awesome, Carolyn. You're going to love them. If you're doing lots of napkin art, you need to just bite the bullet and get you some, because it's just so convenient. All right, let's put this one up. And this one kind of coming down. Oops. There you go. Need a little more Mod Podge right down here. Okay, so now this is my second one I've gotten done. I'm going to go back to this one really quickly and go ahead and just do a thin coat over the whole thing here. And that way this one can be drying. We're kind of assembly lining this today, right? Because we're doing 3. Maybe I should be using a bigger brush. This would go faster. What kind of crafty things are y'all working on right now? Anybody got a project going? So don't worry, it's not, our wax has been here long enough that it's not going to manipulate it in any way. It's dry enough. And this is going to look kind of milky, but it's going to go on crystal clear. It's going to dry nice and clear. Okay, let's do our middle pumpkin. We're going to let that one dry. So let's make the middle pumpkin look a little special. Let's see here. Thinking maybe we go sorry, I'm just playing. Maybe we cascade kind of down a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's cascade down on this one a little bit. Actually, now I'm thinking I'm going to do it this way. Which means I got to trace this line differently. This is why I love the friction pen. It doesn't matter because it's going to disappear. Those lines are going to disappear the second my heat gun hits it. Okay, so I'm going orange, green, orange. Help me remember that. You're working on composition books. Awesome. You're making your Christmas blessed angel. Oh, Kathy, you're going to love that. She's one of my favorite ones. She's talking about one in the Fabric Fan Club. You're going to love that. Have you guys signed up for the Jingle Mingle event yet? I need to post something about it. We did it back in July. We're going to do it again November 3rd and 4th, and I am doing an angel project for that. I'm very excited about it. The wood pumpkins, yes. You're working on the Give Thanks panel. You're working on your pie banner, yeah. Well, this makes me happy because a lot of y'all are listing projects off that are mine. So that's awesome. Thank you. All right, I think that's good enough. Mug rugs, yes. I'm proud of you guys because a lot of you are you're getting ahead on Christmas stuff. I know some of you are doing things for gifts. And it's so smart to be working on those now. So smart. Instead of last minute. I would love to see a lot of us crafters and makers really commit to giving handmade gifts. It just feels like, you know, Christmas has gotten so commercial and so many people already have what they want. Like they, you know, if they want something, they just get it when they want it. So it's, I don't know, it just feels like it's gotten very impersonal. I think we need to all go back to giving handmade gifts and just enjoy spending time together with our loved ones and our families. And I don't mean the kids. I know I would never not get my grandkids, you know, something fun. But I also like to make something handmade for them too to remember me by, you know, as they get older. Oop, I have a little tear, but I think that's going to be okay. All right, guys, we're almost done with this step. Back in the shiplap valleys here. Tiffany, oh, you're only going to give handmade gifts this year. I think that's awesome. I really, really do. Yeah, the guys, it gets a little harder for the guys, doesn't it, Cindy? That's why I think in the Fabric Fan Club, we've been making the mug rugs for like coffee cups and things, because that's something you could do out of more masculine, you know, material. You could even do them out of denim or something. But yeah, it is a little harder for the guys, knowing what to give them. All right, let me think about, I think I'm going to put this big one right here. I have it kind of going down like that. And let's put this little bitty one down here. My placement probably seems pretty random to you guys, huh? Well, don't worry. I have a plan. I have a plan. All right. Let's get these smoothed out. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to go back to this one. I don't think I'm going to do these little leaves. If I need, after we add the flowers, if I realize we need some little leaves, I'll add them. But I think I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to get a bigger brush this time, so this is a little faster here. So what I'm doing is just putting a top coat. Okay, we're going to bring this over here to dry. This one's already dry. I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is good and dry and to go ahead and do the top coat on this one. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today, watching this project come together. I think you can see how easy it would be just to do if you're just doing some smaller ones. Even if you don't want to add any napkin art, you just want to go with the pumpkins. I think they're just so cute. You could just put a cute little ribbon or add a bow or something to them. Really cute. I just wanted to show you a few techniques today. All right, let's let this one come over here to dry. This one is completely dry. This one is completely dry. See some drips here. Okay, now I get to put away the Mod Podge. All right, and we're going to play a little bit now with some pen. We're going to do some pen work. I'm going to play and use some of the glaze pens here. And let me just pull over a couple colors I think will look good. Okay, now when we're using the glaze pens, they are great for surfaces that are not for surfaces that are smooth. Okay, let me go back here. Glaze pens are great for surfaces that are smooth. Okay, and the ink in them just kind of flows, right? It just flows out. So you're going to want like a little a scrap piece of paper. This is just a little piece of cardstock here that we want to kind of start on first. You want to kind of let them start to flow. If you don't want to use glaze pens, you could use like your Pitt pens. If you have Pitt pens, those are great for napkin art. So I'm going to start off with this black. And notice, remember, you can kind of still see a little bit of white around my acorns here. So I'm going to just outline this. Do you see how it's going to stay really nice and shiny? It's going to look raised. And I'm going to have a little fun on the top of this acorn. And I'm going to give it a little crisscross. Okay, little crisscross there. Let's do this one down here. That way these acorns are really going to pop. And again, another little crisscross. Let's see, let's maybe... Let's see if this color is going to show up enough. Yeah, I guess it does. See how that's going to show up. I can also come in here and fill in. This one has like little stripes on it. So the cool thing about these is they're not super opaque other than the black. So if you want to come in and fill these in, it's almost kind of like a paint pen. I don't like how this one is going, so it looks weird to me. Let me just fix that. Okay. So it's almost kind of like a paint pen, how they're just going to kind of stay in there. But I wanted those just to kind of stand out and pop a little bit more. We're going to let those dry. Now over here on our leaves, it's going to be up to you if you want to go more truly with like the green. I'm just going to do a few lines in my plaid. You don't have to do all of them. kind of orangey color. That looks kind of cool. You can just kind of put them wherever you want, really. So just drawing a little bit of attention to those. They kind of take on different colors depending on what you're putting them onto. And I'm going to come back with my black. And anytime when you're doing pen work, when your hand naturally lifts up, I just want you to skip a space and skip a space over the shiplap valley. Okay. Really look cute and pop. Now this over here has had a little bit of time to dry. I'm going to pop it with the heat gun again. And then go back around those. Okay. Now we're going to do some swirlies and stuff like that, but I don't want to do that until after we've added our flowers. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this pretty quickly here. And this isn't a have to. This is just showing how you could embellish something even more. That's all. The cool thing about this is these are going to stay kind of shiny, so they're really going to reflect the light, which I think is kind of neat. They can all be a little different. And don't draw over them. What does that mean? That means like where my green is here, I don't want to draw over the other color while it's wet. So just kind of continue your lines without crossing over. Okie dokie. The slower you go, the thicker the ink will be. I'm just going to go ahead and do this part, and then we can come back and fill that other part in. Because that ink is free flowing. It's going to keep kind of flowing. Cute, cute, cute. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on my glue gun right now. We do the insides of these leaves right fast. So you can probably tell the faster you go, the thinner it comes out. I'm using different colors. And you can go kind of back and forth. You can make these lines as thick as you want. Like this one, I can make this one thicker by just kind of coloring it in. And then I'm just adding some of my own lines wherever I want. I'm not going to do any kind of veins in these leaves. I'm going to leave them because I don't want to draw the attention away from the plaid. I think the plaid is so pretty. This one kind of runs right into the shiplap. That's about the best I can do on that one. Okay. Now, it is important to know that I did seal my napkins first. I put the top coat of Mod Podge on them because if I didn't, this ink would be absorbing. The napkins would be absorbing this ink like crazy. Okay, so make sure if you're doing any kind of pen work, whether it's glaze pens, pit pens, whatever pens you're using, you've got to have that napkin sealed. Otherwise, it's going to try to absorb the ink. Okay. Yes, Yanette, we do sell the pumpkins. Yeah. Okay, don't they look good? All right, we're going to go back to, well, actually, we're going to put these out of the way for a moment. Let me go ahead and fill these in really quickly, though, because I do want them showing up a bit more. That's kind of cute, just doing little lines. Some of them are a little more translucent. Just have fun with it. Just have fun. Okay. All right, we're going to scoot these out of the way because we are going to make some flowers now. You ready? Do you like flowers? Okay, I hope you do. I'm going to look in my little stash here. I love wool felts. So let me grab from my stash here. I think I'm going to I'm using some of my scraps today. I want to use that color. I was even thinking about a brown. Would a brown flower be weird? That might be kind of weird. Let's definitely do some of this gold. This color is called Dandelion, by the way. And this color is called Apricot. We might do that. Hang on just a second. Let me grab some more. This one, yeah, I think I'll use this one too. I want them to be fall colors. All right, you guys ready? These are wool felts that we carry. I have a stitching group called the Fabric Fan Club, and we love to use felt in our projects. And so wool felt is just a different quality of felt. It's such a nice quality. So what I'm going to do here to start is I'm going to cut a square. I'm just going to cut kind of some some squares here. They don't all have to be the same size. In fact, we don't want them to all be the exact same size. So just kind of something square-ish. We're just going to sit here and play and make some flowers. And then we'll come back in and start adorning our pumpkins. And then I do have a trick to show you when you get ready to string these up like a banner. Okay. All right, are you guys ready for this? We've made these before, or I've made these before with my people. They are super fun to make, and if you want to, you can use your friction pen. Again, I usually just cut these. I literally just cut these out. I probably should clean my fingers off before we start making these. And the reason I like the wool felt, especially on fall projects, is it just adds it's got, again, a cozy feel, right? It's got kind of a cozy feel. We have a wood pumpkin. We now have brought in the plaid, which almost feels, it's napkin, but it feels like fabric. So that brings in another texture. We have our shininess with the glaze pens. And then now we'll have some softness with these flowers. And so you can draw what I'm about to draw, but most of the time I just cut them. Okay. So sorry, I'm getting my hands clean. I'm wiping them off I'm in my yoga pants today, my stretchy pants. Okay. So here we go. You ready? So basically you kind of we're just making I don't know, what do you want to call it? Looks kind of like a snail shell, right? I'm not going to draw on it real dark, just kind of like that. So when you're cutting these out, the reason I like to use the square is because then the square is going to help us kind of with our circular shape. Okay. So that's where we're at. Now we're going to go in, we're going to kind of come in this way, which feels very strange. So you're going to wind up with a little tail. And I probably should be doing this with my smaller scissors. Let's switch scissors. It kind of looks like a cyclone. And don't worry about the edges. These to me look so much better when they're organic. That's why sometimes I don't even draw them. I just cut them. And this is what it's going to look like a spiral. Okay, it's going to look like a spiral just like that. We're going to do some more. This time I'm just going to cut it. Okay, so I'm going to start by cutting off the corners, and it doesn't even have to be an exact circle. I'm telling you, these look really good when they're a little more organic. So see, is that a circle? Kind of. Oh, I'm cutting off the camera. I'm sorry. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut in and think of kind of like a cinnamon roll, right? A spiral, a cinnamon roll. We're just going to keep going in to the middle and then stop. Okay. Let's see if we can get it to fall back in place. All right. That's what we're doing. And I'm going to keep doing it on all of these pieces. And then we'll make these flowers, and then we'll make another color. Smaller scissors help, I think. See how it's just like a little point? Almost like a little snake. They do make die cuts for these, but they're almost just too perfect. I really like them being a little more organic in feel. So it's okay to draw them if you feel better drawing them. Then do that. So some of these will be bigger, smaller. Okay, one more to go. You can make a ton of these. In fact, it's kind of fun to just go get whatever season you're in, right? Just go get, get a bunch of different fall colors of felt. This is also good for those of you that are in my fabric fan club. This is great for your scrap pieces of wool felt, for your scrap pieces. And just sit there and make flowers. And then they're ready to go. You just put them in a cute little jar, mason jar, little bowl, little dish. And then they're just ready to go when you need them. Okay, I am going to be making these on my craft mat. My craft mat that I have right here is heat resistant. Okay, so I can put hot glue on it. I can do all the things to it, peel it right back off. Yeah, you can make these out of paper as well. If you are going to make them out of paper, they look better with a double-sided paper. Okay, the paper ones are much thinner. I really want you to make the felt ones. The felt ones are so cute. You can make them out of all kinds of material, denim, blue jeans. That would be fun too. Okay, let's see if my glue gun should be nice and hot now. And I want you to grab, if you have like the teeniest, tiniest paintbrush maybe that you have. We want something really thin. Let's see what I have over here that's really super thin. And you don't always need this, but it is helpful. Okay, I'm going to use this. This is one of my little file things, but you could use the end of a paintbrush, just something. And this will help you a little bit with these flowers. Okay, let's make this one. This is the one that I drew on. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of those lines. That's the friction pin just disappears, which is fabulous. Okay, so most people get confused with this flower and they think you start with the inside. You do not, okay? The center of your flower actually starts here at the tail. All right, the little tail here, the little pointy tail right here. Did we lose sound? Okay. So if you want to take this little pointy piece right here, and you can put just the tiniest little bit of glue if you want to. But we want to wrap this up really nice and tight. So if it's easier for you to use something to wrap around it, you can. And I don't usually put glue there, but you can. So we want the inside. This is going to be the inside of our flower. We want it to be really tight. Okay. This part of the flower is going to be really tight. Let's bring it in a little bit more. And then I'm just going to put a tiny little drop of glue. I'm using my glue gun has a precision point on it, so I can use a tiny little bit. And that way it's going to hold our center. Okay, it's going to hold your center. Super easy to do. Now, no glue. Do you see how I'm going to take these two fingers? Look what a mess I am. I'm definitely a true crafter. You see these people crafting with beautiful hands. I'm like, no, not me. And I'm going to start rolling or coiling or wrapping around the center, but don't do it real tight. Okay, don't do it too tight. The tight part is only going to be the center. All right, we want the tight part to only be the center, and then this is going to be the bottom that we'll glue on the bottom of everything. Okay, so let's go back. You're going to see me do this a few times. So my center is good and tight. And now I'm just going to kind of start going back and forth with my fingers, and just don't make it too tight. The tighter it is, the smaller it will be, which is fine. But we just don't want it to be, we want it to have a little bit more movement out here towards the edges. Okay, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. I'm going to turn this upside down now. I'm going to put my glue kind of here in the center. Nice little blob of glue there. And then this part right here is going to go down on top of all of that glue, and then just smush it. Smush it. Okay, so that's that part on the bottom. We're going to turn it over. You're going to take your finger and smush it down in the center. We want the center to make sure that that glue gets all spread out. And we have a beautiful felt flower. Beautiful felt flower. Isn't that going to be, look how pretty these are going to be. Look. Look. Oh, they're going to be so pretty. Okay, let's make some more. They're going to be gorgeous. So again, we start with the outside part, okay? And just if you have anything tiny, just to kind of roll this up to help you. I'm going to put a little bit, tiny bit of glue there. And I'm going to roll it up a little tighter. And another tiny bit of glue. And then we don't use any glue again until the end. But it's just nice because now my center is going to hang on. Sorry. It's going to hang on and be, I'm not going to have to feel like it's going to get loose on me. And then I'm just going to start wrapping. And this is why I like to just cut them myself, because they're always going to turn out a little different. Every flower is going to feel a little unique. And as the further out that you go, you can kind of almost, you can see it kind of they're just so pretty, y'all. If you feel like you got it too tight, just take it back apart. And we're going to put this right on top. The wool felt holds its shape so well, and it cuts beautifully. And gosh, they just look so pretty when you start clustering them all together. This is the first time you've seen me make these. Oh my gosh, Marlou, you guys need to be just making tons of these. They're so fun. And like I said, if you're in the Fabric Fan Club, this is great to do with your scraps. And then you'll have a whole cute little bowl or something full of flowers. So your embellishments are already ready to go, and you could just grab them when you need them. So again, I just want that center to be nice and tight. It's the only place I use some glue until the end. So if you have, if you keep the flower really tight, it will be smaller. If you start to kind of loosen up a little bit as you come around, then it's going to kind of unfurl a little bit, and it just, gosh, they just look so pretty. And they're not hard, and you didn't have to buy a $30 die for them, or however much those things cost now. You just sit and make them. They're pretty on headbands. They're pretty on decor projects. They're cute on caps and hats, and they're just cute for all kinds of things. Okay, I'm going to keep making these, and then we're going to make a different color. And they're all going to be a little different, just depending on how thick you cut them, how wide you make your spiral. They all kind of take on their own unique look. So glue the top down and then make sure always go back in and push down the center. We really want to make sure that center is down in the glue. And then do you see how the center is it's kind of hard to see there. That's a good angle. See how the center is deep in there? And then everything comes up and out. You can put little beads in the centers. You can put pearls in the centers. I'm not going to do that for these because it's a fall project, but you definitely could. Okay. All right. One more, and then we'll make another color. You can make these teeny tiny. They don't have to be this big. I want my yellow flowers to be the biggest flowers on these pumpkins. So the next flowers, we'll just use smaller squares. And then push, push, push. Really want that center to sink in. You can tell. Okay. All right, let's make some other colors. I might make that one. This seems a little too much. Sorry, I'm just looking through my pile of, like I said, I'm trying to use my scraps. I want to use my scraps as much as I can. That one might be pretty. That one almost looks too much the same. Let's do some of this. We might do a little red one here and there. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's do a smaller one. Let's go ahead and use this red. So these are the kind of random just scraps I'm talking about. They don't even have to be perfect squares. Do we like this? Or do we like this? I think I like the... I'll just I'll make some of both. So I'm going to go up to more of a medium size square, I guess. I mean, people ask me measurements all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. I just randomly cut. Okay, let's make some of these, and we'll see how this is going to look. I'm just pulling colors kind of from my napkin. My leaves here. Remember these leaves? And now I think it probably makes more sense now how you see how I pulled the leaves down, because when we go in and we start kind of embellishing with some of these flowers, it will make more sense. All right, I'm going to see how fast I can make more flowers. Okay. So they're just going to be smaller. You're not going to have as much to go around. We'll finish out at least one of these pumpkins so that you can see what they're going to look like. And then I did want to give you a tip on when you get ready to string this up as a banner. Because these pumpkins don't have holes in them. So I wanted to give you a little tip about that. And then as a banner, like I said, in between the wood pumpkins, you could use fabric strips, just tie on fabric strips. You could use ribbon, jute, or a combination of all of those things would be really cute. Okay, let's make these real quick. I didn't realize how late it was getting. Why does time fly by so fast when we're having fun? Sorry, guys. Okay, here we go. So what will make these pretty is if they are different sizes. I don't think there's a way to do this without getting glue on your fingers. Well, thank you, Kathy. That's so sweet. You're super sweet. You guys could sit down and put on a Hallmark movie or a Netflix or something and just make tons of flowers. These are pretty for any time of the year, depending on what colors you're using. Right? These seasonal colors. Okay, so I just want to show you just so you can kind of see the difference, right? See how the sizes are going to be different. It's just going to depend on how, how big your square starts out. Okay. It all depends on how big your square starts out and how thick your spiral cut, is your band or whatever you want to call that. Sorry, Cheryl. Oh, look at this little bitty red one. Cute. This color is called Cranberry, by the way. If you're curious the colors I'm using, this is Cranberry wool felt. We carry all of these in sheets. This is Dandelion. This is Pumpkin. And this one is Rust. We have lots of pretty fall colors right now. Okay. Okay. Let me go back to our tall one here. All right. So the next step is just going to be, kind of clustering in. What do we want to see here? Do we want like a larger one? And they look so good when you kind of cluster them. Do you see what I mean? I'm not going to put them all down straight. You see how you can kind of cluster them on their sides? Sorry, that light makes that look really dark, but it is not. It is not that dark. So let's go ahead and add these on here. So I'm going to put my big one right up here. So cute. Maybe we'll do this one. This one. Do you see what I mean? We're just kind of clustering them in there. Think about like mums. Kind of like, I mean, they're not mums, but they're kind of clustered in together like that. I know. It's telling me to speed it up. Okay, I got a little bit of glue drag right there, but I'll let that dry and then pick that off. So I'm just putting my glue kind of here on the bottom. And then you're going to snuggle them up. Snuggle them up. Really adorable. That's why we needed that room in between those leaves, right? I mean, how cute is that, guys? Isn't that cute? Now, we're still not done because, I mean, I can add, if I want to add some ribbon up here around the stem, I would definitely add either ribbon, jute, like a jute bow, something cute up there that's kind of hanging down. I think that looks so cute. I like these colors. Do y'all like those colors? Okay, so I would be doing the same thing on the other pumpkins. Sorry, I'm looking for my jute. So if you wanted to use some jute, let's just finish this guy off because I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing to the other pumpkins, just different flowers, different shapes, colors. So I'm going to take 2 strands of jute. And it's, again, remember the back side of this might become Halloween. I don't know. I don't know that I have time for any more Halloween. Let me angle this up just a hair here. And I'm just going to tie this around. And if you'll turn it upside down, when you make your bow, your tails will always go downward. Little trick I learned. So cute. So we'll have this kind of movement with our tails. I think that is darling. And I'm going to put just a little drop of hot glue right underneath the knot. And that way I know it's not going to, not going to go sliding off. You could put some at the back of it too if you wanted to. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. That's so cute. I like the little tails kind of hanging down. Isn't that adorable? If we wanted to put a button, maybe even right there, let's see what a little button would look like. This is the part where I get in trouble because I start embellishing and then, you just don't want to stop. Cuteness. Oh, look how cute that is. That's so cute, right? So you can see how these will build off of each other, and they're just going to get cuter and cuter and cuter. Okay. So when we are doing our banner, okay, when we get ready to, or when I get ready to put this together as a banner, right? These don't have holes in them. This wood is strong wood. It's not like you're going to be able to punch a hole in them. I love the ideas of having ribbon or fabric strips hanging in between. I'll make sure and take a picture when I get finished, but I want to show you my little trick for this. If you're going to have something, I got kind of messy on this side. If you're going to hang something up that doesn't have like a hook or a hole, and you want it to become, part of a banner, right? So if this needs to string on, and this jute is too thin for this, I'd probably need to use something much, much thicker. What you can do is, especially if you're going to decorate this side, if you were going to decorate this side, I'd want you to come in here and literally glue this at the stem. Glue whatever your banner piece is going to be at the stem right here. And then as you're decorating this side, then as you put things down on this, it's going to hold even more. Now, if you're not going to decorate this back side right here, felt is awesome for this. Felt is so awesome for this. So let me show you what I would do. If I'm having to glue something on, and I didn't do this very well, but if I'm having to glue something on, like if I want it to go right about there, right? I'm actually going to glue some felt over the back of it too, because that's going to help it secure, because the felt is going to grab that hot glue like crazy. And that's going to help secure this when all I'm trying to stick down is just this, the twine or jute or ribbon or whatever that's going to hold the banner together. Okay. Very, very simple to do. So if you don't care about the back, I would just do this. All right. You just need to put, when you sandwich this on, and it needs to be up towards the top, right? Just sandwich that little piece of felt or something over the back of it. If you're going to decorate it, then you need to kind of pull this into the decoration. If you're going to add, flowers or whatever you're going to add on the other side, you would put a leaf over the top of this, or you do something to disguise it. But we need to, whatever you're going to put the banner together with, whether it's, like I said, twine, jute, ribbon, whatever it is, it needs to be a little thicker because I want to tie off ribbon or fabric strips. So we need to make sure that it's good and secure. And I would go so far to say that those of us that live in Texas, where it's warmer, where we have, issues sometimes with just these random really hot days, I would probably put maybe even a little bit of E6000 in there, a couple drops of that, and then hot glue around that. So the hot glue holds it short term, and then that E6000 will set up overnight, and this thing will not come apart. Okay. All right. How would you, if you might want to put in a wreath? Yes, I would just do in fact, I can style it on a wreath for you if you want. I would literally just lay these out. Okay. Right. It's just going to, this size with 3 for a wreath is perfect. It's perfect for a wreath because, sorry, let me go back to this one, because it's not that wide. So think about how wide your wreath is. That's going to depend on how close together your pumpkins need to be. Okay. Let's throw a couple more flowers up here just so so these look, kind of finished. Right? So however wide your wreath is, bring some extra over, and literally you can just clip it in. You could clip it in with clothespins. You could tie it in. You could use wire, however you want, and it will look darling. It will look so, so cute. So little small banners like this are really fun because there's just so many places that you can put them. There's so many different places that you can put them. They don't take up a lot of room. They look great over a wreath. They'll look great over even like a frame, a mirror. If you have any floating shelves, they look great just hanging off the bottom of a floating shelf. They're just very cute. This could even be cute just stuck into a hay bale. Do any of y'all get those little hay bales just to decorate with at fall on your porch or something? It could even look cute on that. Okay. Yeah, and they'd be very, very cute sitters. So they could be just cute sitters if you just want to make 1 or 2. This also could be something really cute on your Thanksgiving table. And everybody gets to take home a little pumpkin of their own, a little parting gift. You could do a little tag on there that says, "I'm thankful for you," or maybe even do a little message on the back.